side of it, man. Watching TV.
Yeah. Yep. Just falling back with my kids.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. How's everything with you in quarantine life, by the way? Any for the fans, I want to know.
Uh, it's been good. You know what I mean? Just trying to stay busy as much as I can with my kids, spending time with my kids and my family. It's been boring though, man. It's kind of like doing the same thing over and over. You know what I mean? But I ain't gonna complain because it's people that got it way worse than me. So
Yeah.
I'll just try to be patient with it. That's all.
There you go. Usually, I mean, most fighters will say that this is like an ordinary thing for you guys, especially in preparation for a training camp, because you guys
Hmm.
distance yourself from social media. Some of you guys
Yeah.
might even stay away from your family. So for you guys, it might even
Hmm.
be another day, another month.
No, not for me. It's not for me because it's not so much that I gotta stay inside. It's the fact that everything on the outside is closed, and
Yeah.
I'm not used to this. We never been through this in our lifetime, and we'll probably never go through it again in our lifetime. At least I hope so. So it's been a different experience for me. But what can you do? You got to kind of like
Yeah.
roll with the punches.
There you go. Overall, I was just hitting up everybody just to make sure that everybody's safe and healthy more than ever, because I think
Hmm.
this is the time where we just got to hit up all our boxing brothers just to make sure everything's okay, man. So like I said, man, I
Yeah.
hope you guys are all right, especially because I want things to get back to normal and back to
Yeah.
business.
Yep. I can't wait, man. Can't wait.
And, just reactions overall moving forward and the way boxing might happen, right? There's with no crowd. What's your reaction towards that fighting in a no crowd events?
I think they got to start off doing what they got to do to advance the sport. You know what I mean? Promoters just can't sit out for the rest of the year. You know what I mean? TV still want ratings. Just because they don't have no fans in the crowd, that means people won't watch around the country. You know what I mean? I think right now, I think sports fans in general they'll watch anything because it's been absolutely no sports. So I think if a promoter was to jump out and put on a show on Fox or Showtime or whatever, I think they'll get the most views because there hasn't been any sports. You know what I mean? Do I want to fight in an empty arena? Absolutely not. But I guess I look at it from all angles, and promoters have to do what they have to do to survive and stay afloat.
There you go. Even with that, because most of you fighters, when you guys are on the big level, you guys also get a revenue from the gate sales. Knowing that can't be in effect, is it more likely that maybe more likely more big fights got to be on pay-per-view no matter what, even
I
with
don't know, man. I think I think the promoters and everything gotta determine that. You know what I mean? I really don't know.
mm, okay. Just in regards to this whole 2020, you had one fight in this year lately. I know
Hmm.
at the moment we still don't know when things get back to normal, but for you in a perfect world, you know, what would you like for your next fight when things get back to normal? Get some ring rust off
Um,
because I know, or I
yeah,
don't
for
know.
sure. Uh, I would like to get back in I was hoping to get back in August or September. So I'm still hoping for the same thing. You know what I mean? Everybody's going to get pushed back now. It's not just me, it's going to be everybody. So I just want to get another one in before the year's up.
Okay. I also want to give you credit during your fight week schedule because I know that sometimes as media, we are very persistent and we want to ask you about future events. And one thing
Yeah,
that hit me about you was when they asked you about the other champions at the time. You said to us, well, not to me, but other media, you was like, let me focus on my opponent right now
right.
at this moment. After the fight, whatever happens, good or not, then we could talk
Yeah,
about it. And I think a lot of
right,
people don't give you enough credit for that. I think people forget about what you
right,
said before and they just focus on the loss. And I was like, no, he
hmm,
actually said it before. Like you said, let me worry about this guy. This guy's
right.
coming to win. You had the belt at the time. And, I just want to
Hmm.
let people know about that, you know?
Yeah, I think it's always important to get an opponent that's right in front of you, respect, because that's the closest thing to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And,
I always approach every fight like that.
yeah. Just just in terms of that fight overall, like, have you like reflect on it and look back at that fight after now that you
Absolutely.
have more time home? Yeah. What
Yeah,
have
for
you learned
sure.
from it?
Absolutely. Uh, I learned a lot of things, stuff I don't want to put out there. You know what I mean? But I learned a
Got you.
lot of different things.
Okay. Which is fair enough. So I'm assuming, moving forward, depending how everything is, a lot of fans are asking, what's his plans? Is he going to go straight in for the rematch or whatnot? And I think only you would know that best next step for you, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I sat down with my team. We had a discussion, and I decided to get the scar tissue cleaned up on my face. And he said I still got the scars that's still healing, so I had to get surgery on my face. And
Mm.
we're gonna go back at the titles as soon as we get another opportunity.
Got you. Just in terms of the weight class itself, very exciting. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
skillful fighters, just like yourself, right in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to Tony Harrison briefly. Like I said, I want to pay my condolences to the family of the
Recently,
Harrison family. Yeah, I talked
you
to him like
talked to
two
him
weeks
recently?
ago. No,
Okay, they
like
got you.
when yeah. This was like, so the time I talked to him 2 days after his dad passed away. So like I said,
Oh
my condolences
wow,
to the Harrison family.
yeah.
He
Mm-hmm.
agreed too. He's saying that 154 is wide open, and the fights that make sense for him would be the Charlo and yourself because you
Mm-hmm.
guys are in the elite level. And Erickson Lubin was the name that was calling him out, but he said that's not a name he wouldn't want because Lubin is kind of come his way back up at the 54
Is
ranking. So he
is
said he would love to
is
fight him.
behind his Lubin is like who's a good fighter? Lubin is a
Yeah.
good fighter, but he's kind of like behind everybody. You know what I mean? And like, I mean, unless it's I wouldn't. It doesn't make no sense. You know what I mean?
Mm,
From a business standpoint, you know what I mean? Why would you fight somebody that's that's behind you and there's not no title involved? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Guys at the
Makes
top of the division are chasing world titles. They're not chasing contenders. You know what I mean? But Lubin's a good fighter. And I think he's gonna be a champion.
Yeah. That's what they were saying. So basically, he was kind of agreeing that it's a wide open class, and it just depends on matchups. And I think that's one thing you also emphasize that you know every fighter has their own skills, and one fight can be a
Yeah.
nightmare for another guy. And then just overall, how does it feel to be in that 154 where anything can happen?
It's I don't know how I feel. That's a good question. I would say it's I try to take everything by fight basis. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know it's a competitive division. I think it's the most competitive division in boxing. I don't think we get enough credit for it, but I think it is. I just feel like you got to be in your game every night.
mm. Okay. One of the things that are making a lot of headlines during this quarantine is Terence Crawford and Jermell Charlo. I don't know if you got a chance to read articles on it or hear about it on social media, but they were going at it on Twitter. They talked about fighting each other, and then Bob saying that he would love to make that fight at 154. Also, want to emphasize a little bit what Harrison said. He thinks that Crawford beats Jermell Charlo easily. Can I get your reaction towards that, or even a breakdown of that fight if that was ever to
That's
happen?
that's gossip, man. I don't get into he say she say and Twitter beefs, and I'll try to stay away from that. You know what I mean?
Mm,
When that fight gets signed, you can hit me back, and I'll give you a breakdown if the fight gets signed. So I
I,
don't. I heard about it, but I didn't really pay no attention. So like I said, it's like it's gossip, and I don't get into gossip.
I feel you. I feel you. I was gonna mention to you like just moving forward as a fight fan. What are some fights you're excited to see once things get back to normal?
Um, damn, I kind of like forgot what fights were scheduled.
So it was
I wanted to see Alvarez and Sanders and Billy Joe. I wanted to see that. Of course, I wanted to see the Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder rematch. We still might get that this year.
yeah.
It's a few fights I wanted to see, man. Oh, I wanted to see what's the kid name from Japan? The Monster
Oh,
fight
Inoue?
Casemiro in a way, and Casemiro, if I'm pronouncing his name right, because that was gonna be a good fight.
Yeah.
Casemiro's not upside down in that fight, as many people think. Um, it's just so much, and I forgot about it because I forgot the schedule because
On hold?
everything's been on hold, so I kind of like forgot about the schedule.
Yeah, I mean May 30th they were saying Teofimo Lopez
Oh yeah,
versus
Lopez. Oh yeah,
Lomachenko.
Lopez versus Loma. Yeah, that's a bump. That's
Yeah.
a fight.
There you
You
go.
gotta give that kid Lopez a lot of respect,
Yeah.
man. He want to jump in there and fight the pound for pound with a lot of people who consider the best in the world and his first title defense. You gotta give that kid respect.
Hell
Jeez,
yeah.
he
You know,
ambitious. He's ambitious, man. I love it.
there
A
you
lot
go.
of these
Even
kids run around here talking. They run around here talking about it and arguing on Twitter and back and forth, and This dude said he ain't doing no Twitter talking. He signing contracts, so you gotta respect that.
Yeah, even with Teofimo, he's very young, and I think that he's in a stage where even if he wins or loses a fight, his stock doesn't
It's
go
not
down.
gonna
I think it
matter.
goes up. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Yeah,
Does it
because he in
kind
a
of?
position where what you say?
I was gonna say, does it kind of remind you like when Canelo fought Floyd back in 2013 when Canelo was like I think 22, 23? Like even though he lost, people
Yeah,
didn't.
sort
Okay.
of. I don't. Yeah, I think. I don't think Canelo's stock went down because he lost to an all-time great.
Mm,
And then he got so much better from there, man. Canelo grew from that fight. I watched Canelo then, and I watch him now. He looked like completely, almost a completely different fighter.
mm, yeah. Do you feel like if Teofimo does win, people should categorize him as pound for pound, at least in the top five if he beats somebody like Lomachenko?
That's a great question. I would. I don't know, man. I'm gonna say I don't know, but if they
Yeah.
did, I wouldn't argue because in order to be the best, you gotta beat the best. So if
Yeah.
you're not gonna tell me that if he beat. So if they did, I wouldn't argue it. Kid's
Mm,
ambitious, man. I like him.
there you go. Even in terms of you, once upon a time you was young, and I think that sometimes depending on somebody's personality and like no, but when you started your debut,
I know what you mean. I know
yeah,
that's in the
I don't
crazy. I
want to
know what
say,
you mean.
yeah, I don't
I
want to
know.
say like, yeah,
Nah, man, I'm listening. Go ahead.
yeah. So I was saying like, you know, when a fighter takes a loss very young in their career, right, 22, 23,
Uh,
24, it might it might break them. A loss could either
yeah,
make a fighter or break a fighter. So for me,
yeah.
Teofimo's like if he loses, I hope it doesn't break his self-esteem or
hmm
self-confidence moving forward.
Well, it depends on
Maybe
how he loses. What it depends on how he loses. Is what if he does lose? Because we don't know if he's gonna lose. If you ask me, Loma should only be a slight favorite. This kid can fight, he can fight and he's explosive. But it depends on how he loses too. If he loses by a split decision or if he get dominated every round. So it depends.
as a fight fan, do you want to see Canelo Triple G the trilogy as a on the aspect of competitiveness and excitement or no?
I mean, it's a big fight. It's always good to have big fights in boxing to advance the sport. But personally, it's not a fight that I necessarily had to see. You know what I mean? I thought Triple G won the first fight. Canelo won the second, but I thought they jerked Triple G around the first fight. You know what I mean? So
Mm,
I don't, and then I don't. I just don't want to see a third fight. I think Triple G is on the others. Like he's not getting better. I'm gonna say he's not getting better. And Canelo's seen the style already, so he's gonna be able to he's seen the style twice. They got 24 rounds in. That's a lot of rounds to have with somebody.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't necessarily have to see the fight again.
Okay. In terms of another trilogy, we have Wilder Fury 3. Wilder's going through some of his changes, had his surgery and whatnot. And even for him, I think he's still in that phase where I guess he's trying to deal with the loss, his first loss of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like advise him or just, like in terms of relating with him, in terms of going through that loss, like how long does it, what does he have to go through to kind of just get over what happened to him?
I want to. Everybody go through different stuff, man. How I might handle something is completely different from how Deontay Wilder might handle something. You know what I mean? Everybody handle things differently. I just think that you gotta do some self reflecting. You know what I mean? You gotta go back to the drawing board and you gotta work it out. It's not the end of the world. It's like so
Yeah.
what? All right, what's next? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. There you go. And you're also a testimony to that because when that happened to you a couple years ago, you always told people
yeah,
like, "Don't count me out, don't count me out." You
yep,
you picked up the unification titles. Like I said, congratulations because
yep,
even that same week, you felt like people weren't giving you that respect. And then when you won them
yep.
titles, that fight, um,
Everybody busted U turn and did
yeah,
a 360. But
and I
that's just how sports. That's just how sports fans are. That's how media. That's how media is. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's just that's just how it is. You know what I mean? They
no,
only love you when you win,
yeah, and
and
that's
I
crazy too
accept
because
that. I
yeah.
accept it.
Because even
It's all right.
I still remember in the locker room after your victory, you was like, hold up. He's like, how many of you guys were rooting for me to win? And everybody was
Right, right,
just
for
like,
sure.
you called
Right,
us
I
out.
remember. Yeah, like
I,
bro. So I'm not gonna say like the I don't know, man. It's a little bit weird. Boxing's a weird sport, man. It's the love is conditional. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I don't like conditional love. You feel me? Like if uh if my fans is my fans, then be my fans through the ups and downs. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
don't want I
yeah,
don't want conditional fans. Like I'm only his fan when he win. You know what I mean? Like no. You know what I mean?
right.
I'm a diehard Eagles fan. I'm an Eagles fan when they won the Super Bowl
And
or
when they
when they
lost,
was going out in NFC Championship or when they didn't make the playoffs. I was still an Eagles fan. You know what I mean?
mm, there you
That's the
go.
kind of
And
fans I want.
hmm another Philly. We're talking about the theme of Philly. Tevin Farmer also. He had a great fight with Jojo Diaz. I think both of them went in
Hmm.
adversity. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Tevin didn't get the win that day. But even that rematch, man, I still think that's a 50-50 fight, depending
Yeah,
who.
it is. So who depends on who showed up that night?
Yeah,
Jojo Diaz is a good fighter. Tevin Farmer's a good fighter, but Jojo Diaz is not so much better than Tevin, where Tevin can't get better in the span of 6 or 7 months and come back and win his title back.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So
yeah, because
that's a good fight to make.
even that fight, I was telling people because a lot of people like to compare and contrast like Tevin Farmer and Gary Russell. I think they have two different styles, but I think
Uh huh.
what kind of complements the comparisons is like the speed. So I think JoJo learned a little bit based on Gary Russell's speed. I think that helped him prepare for a Tevin Farmer fight. But if they
Yeah,
fight again,
it did. It did. But if they fight again, Tevin Farmer's been in there with Jojo Diaz now, so he's gonna have some
yeah,
tape on him. He's gonna have some things to go back and correct and get better on. But you're right. I agree. I remember when Jojo Diaz fought Gary Russell a few years ago, and people just don't understand. Like just because you lose, that doesn't mean you just like. He learned a lot from that fight, and
oh
if
yeah,
you remember that fight was it wasn't close, but it was close. It wasn't close on the scorecards, but it was highly
yeah,
competitive. And Jojo Diaz didn't get blown out. He just lost. He had to go ahead and fight him in his hometown up there in Maryland. You know what I mean? And he showed a good account of himself in a losing effort. And he took it, he built on it and learned from it and came back and won the title a few years later. It's
yeah,
just that era we in now. If you get one loss or you lose, everybody just like, oh, he's done. Like, no, it's not how it goes. It's
yeah,
boxing.
yeah.
Every
Even
every all time great lost.
yeah,
Every one
yeah,
of them, except a few. You got the Ricardo Lopez's, you got the Floyd Mayweather's, you got the Joe Calzaghe's, but that's three. I can't name no more.
yeah. It's very very rare. A selective few, huh?
It's a select few. I just named three off the top of my head. If you got any more, please correct me because I don't know
Yeah, no,
anymore.
you probably got them all. Yeah, you're
That's
probably
it.
right.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. Talking about Russell, he's talking about daring to be even more greater. He's going from 26 to 135. He's calling out the Haney's of the world, the Garcias of
Who
the
that?
world,
Gary
the
Russell?
Lopez of the
Gary Russell?
yeah, Gary Russell. Yeah, he's talking about
Yeah,
he wants to move
yeah.
up to 35. But then
I
again,
like Gary Russell.
from a fighter's perspective, right? How dangerous is that? Not that it's dangerous, but to move up to two weight classes and not take a tune up and jump in with the good ones in that weight class. What does that mean for the guy?
Well, I don't know how hard it is for him to make the weight, but as far as skill wise, he's right there. Nobody's better than him in those weight classes. Like so much head and shoulders better than him in skills. You know what I mean? Devin Haney is a really good young fighter,
Yeah,
and I had the opportunity to see him up close and personal because when I'm in the Bay Area training, he trains at the same gym. So I seen him get some rounds in with Amir Khan. I seen him get rounds in with a couple of a sparring partner from Philadelphia. So I probably got up to see about 20, 25 rounds of sparring on Devin Haney, and I was impressed. He's a really good fighter. But
mm,
well, there's no buts. He's a really good fighter. You know what I mean? But I like to see him with somebody like Gary Russell, who's a seasoned fighter and is equally as skilled and a little bit older. You know what I mean? I like to see that kind of fight. It's a good fight.
yeah, yeah. Because Gary said that moving up to that weight class, the only thing he's giving up is that physical aspect in that weight class. In terms of skill, he thinks he still has it. And he thinks he'll reign supreme on everybody in that weight class.
I don't blame him for thinking that. He only got beat by one fighter who's
Yeah,
who's considered as the one who's arguably the pound for pound best in the world. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think he got a
Yeah,
shot. Yeah.
okay. Interesting. just in terms of the, I want to ask you this question too, because this is everybody. I'm gonna just start out like this, right? Every fighter
But
should feel like they could beat anybody who they fight, right? And
yeah,
the minute you think that, oh, I don't
you
know if I could
can't.
beat
Then
him,
you
then you're in
done.
the wrong
Yep, you
sport.
done. You
Yeah,
lost.
you're
Yeah,
in the
for
wrong
sure.
sport. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to start out right there before I emphasize the next question. So, number one, Errol Spence mentioned how, if he was to fight at his prime and Floyd at his prime, he said he beats Floyd, which I have
Nothing
nothing
wrong
wrong with
with
him
that.
saying that. Exactly. But if you had to break down that fantasy matchup, like what you've seen from Spence with him fighting Porter and Kell Brooks and the Lamont Petersons, and then looking at Floyd and his whole career, like how do you see that fight playing out?
Uh, if I want, give me 1 second. If I wanted to dig
Say
that
that again.
deep, I said if I
Yeah.
wanted to dig that deep, um, I don't. I would say Floyd on a decision.
Okay.
I would say Floyd on a decision. Um, for a bunch of different reasons I don't want to put out there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Got you.
Both of them great fighters though. I'm a
Okay.
fan of both fighters.
Nice, nice, nice. And then Plant, one of the best.
At his weight class, yeah, absolutely. He could
Mm,
box his butt off, man. That dude could fight.
there you go. I mean, I guess since we're talking about Caleb Plant, not him specifically, but Jermall Charlo said he's moving up to 168.
Uh
Is
huh.
that you think he could make an impact at 168 with all those big guys? Because
I
most of
think
those
so.
guys are big. Yeah.
Now they're not that big. Not that big. I don't think so.
I think
You're a
Benavidez
bit.
is big for 168.
Benavidez is big. Yeah, he big. He a big dude. But Caleb Plant probably about 6 foot. You know what I mean? Them
Yeah.
dudes not that big.
Yeah. I mean, because
Yeah,
even Charlo was already trying to say I want Benavidez. Like that's the first fight he wants, and I was like, yo, that'll be a great fight too. Because
that'd be
I
a
think
real good fight.
I think both fighters need each other. I think at this point to, I guess, kind of elevate to the next level. Would you agree or no? Not really. You think Charlo?
Yeah, I think Benavidez got Plant.
Okay.
So it depends though. It depends. It's some good fights to make at 68.
Yeah,
Some good fights to make.
and it seems like most of the guys at 60 are moving to 68, which leaves like 60 wide open also. So is that something? I mean, I
So I
remember one
think
time.
I'm going
Yeah.
up for sure.
Okay.
I'm definitely going up soon. But I think once Canelo's relinquished some titles, I don't think he's ever gonna fight at 160 again unless he fights
Mm,
Golovkin because that's so much money. He gotta get that money. But
mm.
um he's gonna relinquish those titles soon. So it's gonna be a wide open division.
There you go.